Oh. All right, guys. Let's go ahead and hop over here. This is our school community group, guys. Lapel Guard Syndicate group. It's kind of like our virtual team. You guys can check out the links down below if you get, especially if you guys want access to my lapel guard instructional, or if you guys are looking to get some of that extra outside help. This is where you would actually find it. So we got a little bit of film we're going to be running through today, and we're going to have a little bit of fun doing it too. So I got to get the live stream posted to the group. Give me just a second here. All right. Make sure it's running good. In fact, I need to post to the group that we're going live film studies. And if all goes well, I plan on doing a little bit of a film study on some Eric Muniz, which I think will be good. Where did I put it? Oh, here it is. Film review. Let's see. Sparring plus all right. Oh, probably should post a link. All right. Let's run over here real quick. All right, so, man, our frickin' lapel lasso king, Sean. We're gonna go through some of his matches here. Part 2 of myself filmed where I got murdered. Is that a dead body? Wait, I think, is this a new one? He went up against this purple belt, and in his words, he got destroyed. But that's not what I saw. Let's see. Wait, let's go back, because we hadn't reviewed this yet. This is 3 days ago. Okay, yeah, this is the one that I was saving to do a live stream on. So I'm actually watching this for the first time with you guys too. So let's give Sean a little bit of love and give him a little bit of help and see how we're looking today. So Sean's been with me for actually since basically the beginning of our school community. Starting this has made a lot of really good improvement, especially with his guard pulling. And I like to call him Scrappy Coco because this dude does not ever get up. But let's go ahead and jump and get it started. Looks like he's got the purple he was rolling with before. Let's make sure we get the very beginning. And let's see how we're looking here. And just for context too, anytime that I'm observing film, I don't care if technique works. I only care about who it works against. So the idea is to make the most optimal decisions that give us the highest probability of success. So we're going to jump right back here, but for a second, I at least want to see this. I actually liked that a lot. That was actually a good entry. For those of you that don't know, Sean's actually a really good wrestler. See, we got the overback grip with the belt. And I think he pulls. Let's go and jump forward a little bit so we get to some of the actual jiu-jitsu side now. My gut tells me he's going to throw the right leg out, controlling, well, he had control of the sleeve. If you can make someone step with that leg and you're controlling that sleeve, get the foot past the hip. It's a real strong guard pulling opportunity there. Because the biggest thing you want to be careful with are guys that are real athletic that can actually jump over or knee cut through that leg. So generally you want to get some kind of off balance or pull. I can't tell if that was a takedown attempt by that guy or if Sean actually pulled in that scenario. I think, no, let me know in the comments, guys, what you guys think. Was that a guard pull or was that a takedown? Because that kind of initially looked like a takedown attempt, but rewinding it back, I feel like that's, I feel like it was a guard pull. And obviously we're only getting half of the body here, but it looks like Sean is in almost flat, not half guard. Looks like this guy's tripod passing through here. And it's exactly why I call Sean Scrappy Coco. That literally explains why I call this dude Scrappy Coco. Good frames on the hips, gets control of the belt. He just finds a way. I think one thing that I would look to do in this position is that as you rotate over and you get up on top, feeling this position here, I like the idea of what you're doing with your left hand, but I would almost like a false grip or some type of control here. And I would do my very best to not try to force the mount here because it's going to be very difficult. As you can tell, this knee, the way it's kind of angling in, it's probably going to come under your groin. But I would do my very best to, number one, stop any like scramble or wrestle up he may do to you, but try to get your partner into flat and half guard. If you get flat and half guard in this position, man, I'd almost rather, in some scenarios, be mounted than be stuck in flat and half guard. But you get like a really strong, nice sweep like this, especially when your opponent doesn't recognize it. You could settle back, put him in a flat and half guard. Man. In fact, let's see, in this scenario right here, assuming he, guys, like if he were to try to off balance you this way and try to wrestle up, he's going to want to underhook this guy. If I can, what I'm going to do is I'm not just going to make this grip, but I'll actually take my thumb that's on the outside and I'll do what's called like a thumb post, right? So I'm going to like thumb post into the actual armpit, pinching down. What this is going to do is going to make it to where his actual underhook is not going to be anywhere near as effective and make his wrestle up dang near impossible, if that makes sense. So this is where I'd be thumb posting. This is not a bad idea. I like the idea of you working the knee cut here. But just like you're doing right now, the biggest priority is stabilizing the position. We got caught in an arm bar there. And honestly, like, it's very easy to look at a round like this and be like, I got submitted, I got beat up, I got whatever. You got a really strong, it's not a reversal, it was a sweep, but it was off his attack and his attempt. We get in this really strong position here, but then right when we kick through, look where our arm is left behind. And once we're not pinning this leg anymore, this is where the arm bar came into play. So one of the most interesting concepts you can think about is that if you had to pin somebody, like you had to make sure they could not get up, would you rather have them in side pin or would you rather have them in like some kind of half guard? For example, flat and half guard or just half guard in general. Which one would you rather have? My hope is you would answer half guard, because if you're controlling them in half guard, though they have a guard, they can sweep and all that fun stuff too, they're not going to be able to build height. It's going to be extremely difficult for them to build height and get up on top. So in a scenario like this, though it's not half guard, when I'm actually working this knee cut, and you're doing a good job, we get right here, we really want to make sure that versus framing here just like this. Now, unless we can connect our hip to the rib, it's not necessarily bad. But if you're looking at this frame, he's got to, looks like it's to your hip here, and we're kind of in this position. I'd much rather prefer being like controlling the lapel, for example, because then your elbow is not so close to the groin, and it's going to be far easier for you to have another tool to be pulling yourself closer to be chest to chest. Because right now, well, he's not now because we're knee cutting through, he was framing himself to the mat. So if he's framing straight up in the air, he's pinning himself. But if he's framing off angle, completely different, his hips are going to be free and mobile. So in this scenario, it's not like completely bad, but I would advocate this, that once we get here, I would stay on top of getting control over this sleeve, letting go of the lapel, settling back in the actual knee cut, but getting this sleeve right here, your right hand pulling this up super high. And then I would be playing to the actual lapel and focus on doing more like a slow pressure style of knee cut. And because I know you had Homo Bahal come out to your gym and do like a big, awesome seminar, dude, his guard passing with a knee cut is a perfect example. Now, I generally play more to the same side lapel, as in like your left hand here, I'm playing to this lapel. He played a lot more to the cross lapel. For those of you that probably, hopefully know, if you know your history with Jiu Jitsu, he was like a cross choke king in Jiu Jitsu. But when you're looking at this right here, remember, if you knee cut out wide like this, there is nothing really pinning him at all. So if you wanted to scramble and build height, yeah, you've got control over this lapel here, but you're not controlling his arm. So his elbow can get to the mat and he can still build height no matter how tight you're holding onto this lapel here. But look where our hand is, because we were framing at the hip, kind of more of like a nogi style. Now your wrist is trapped. You're not just going to get armbarred. You're going to get like almost like a Montevella style armbar in this position, which basically it's like attacking like an Americana. But if we had the lapel, now your hand is more center chest, and it's going to be far more difficult for him to get this angle in there. But making space away, I would focus on keeping pressure and basically stacking your opponent in this scenario. If we make that space, only thing he has to do is just put his hips in. So the two things I would think about in this scenario, let's go ahead and, I don't want to go 10 seconds back. Let's go, perfect, right here. So we settle. I prefer flat and a half guard if possible, but this knee cut scenario, super strong. So remember, number one, get control of the sleeve right here, pull up, and you control same side collar. If you want to go homolo style, cross collar is really good too. But I want to think about making your partner carry your weight. So it's like I'm trying to go straight to here, chest to chest, holding the collar, and knowing once you knee cut through, there's nothing controlling his hips really at all. So we have to have this chest to chest here. And then God forbid if we get caught in an armbar like this, posturing up, especially in the gi when there's a lot of friction, super dangerous. We want to be crowding them as much as we can. Yeah, this is going to be tough. We want to be crowding our partner as much as we can in this scenario. I love how competitive Sean is. That was actually really good, honestly, really good exchange you guys had there. Let's see, Sean gets right to the pool. And let's see what we end up going for. He's got the right lapel out right now. Fed it to his left hand. Sean, you can still underhook this leg and attack squid or lapel de plata. Look at you, dude. I feel like sometimes Sean can hear me when I'm reviewing his film. Ooh. So if you take this here, backside 50-50 is not illegal. But here's a really neat idea. I may need to show this to you, Sean, but keep this foot, butt grip. What you're going to do is you're actually going to build height up on this right knee right here, and keeping this butt grip, you're then going to wrestle up and go to the back. That may be tough to understand with this video, but I promise if you actually play with and tinker with this, I think it's going to help you a lot. So think backside 50, you're controlling them here, control the far pants, keep this ankle. You're going to try to build height, like kind of up to the shoulder, forehead, keeping this ankle. Once you escape this leg, it's not going to be rocket science for you to know where to go. Looks like you try like a mild duck under in this scenario here. Keep pummeling that leg, keep pummeling that leg. And yeah, if you have to like reset the position, come up. Let's start working our passing. This is going to give you 2 points right here. I would have came up a little sooner. That was just a little bit of hesitating. That's all that was there. Let's go ahead and fast forward through this a little bit and see what happens. Okay, he gets his back taken, ends up getting finished, not a big deal. And then see a little bit of hand fighting on the feet. Let's get to the jiu-jitsu part. Oh, dude, looks like Sean's like, I'm taking you down. Watch out for the Kimura trap. Yeah, I think this is just one of those scenarios, Sean, that it looked like as the round went on, kind of like a video gaming term, just looks like you went full tilt in the scenario. But I think if you watch this back and you go through it with some of the information that I gave you, it looks like it's just majority of it is like improving a little bit of the knee cut concepts there. You would have passed his guard, got chest to chest, probably would have mounted him, and then hit him with a nasty Ezekiel. And then everything else that happened from this round, I don't feel like it would be the same because I felt like you went on slight tilt as the rounds went on. So I hope that makes sense. And yeah. What else can we say in that, right? So give me just a second, guys. I'm sure you guys can hear my dog. I need to let my dogs in for real quick, guys. It'll take me 2.5 seconds because you can probably hear my little French bulldog. She's a pain in the butt. All right. Let my dog in real quick and then I'll be right back. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Oh. All right. I'm back. Keep in mind too, guys, I've got the members chat on for Q&A. So if anybody has any questions you guys want to pop in the chat, or if you guys want help with some of your sparring or even like your matches that you guys have, check out the links down below. You'll see my school community group. It's a real easy way to get more access to me and for me to help you guys with your jiu-jitsu. So that's what we got from Mr. Sean on that match right there. And then assuming YouTube doesn't kick us in the nuts, we should be able to go through some footage I was wanting to go through with Eric Muniz in there. Let's see. All right. So what you guys will see too in the school group, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll actually timestamp each point, and then I'll walk through with you basically through text what the observations are. But then we'll do, we're getting better with the schedule side, but doing these live streams, reviewing people's sparring film and then any actual matches they have in well. And this one we just went over with Sean. There's actually a lot of really good stuff in there. And honestly, like, I don't feel like we've gone over too much passing concepts with you, Sean. Normally your passing is pretty spot on. And not that I wasn't here, but I think there were some really good concepts that I hope take your jiu-jitsu to that next point where you're wanting to get to. So let's take a real quick second. Make sure I'm not missing anybody's real quick. Let's see. Okay, I think I got what I wanted out of that one. This is actually a really interesting match. This is not what I had planned to go over, but this is what I was recently kind of running through and studying with Diego Pato. Pato, I think, has some pretty underrated, what's the word I'm looking for? Underrated lapel guard, especially with some of the concepts he was using with feeding the lapel from the squid to the cross hand and looking to attack ankle locks. He's actually done that in a handful of his matches. Super, super intriguing. I hate that pop-up with a passion, but this is actually one of my favorite matches to study for spider lapel. So let's go ahead and do a quick run through of a actual match from Eric Muniz. When I'm studying somebody and I had to be like, who would be the best person to study for spider lapel or even like squid guard, Eric is basically the king right now. This would be the best guy that you would want to study. And I'm going to use this match as an actual example to take you guys through about why I like it so much. So in this match, you're going to see Eric play a lot, and I mean a lot of spider lapel almost like he's drilling it throughout the match. This is obviously high-level black belt. Guy's really good. At the same time, though, Eric is just, he plays all of his stuff to the left. Not saying right or wrong. It's his preference of what he leans to. It's like most people when you play collar sleeve, you control the right sleeve, control the left collar. I play predominantly right hand to the collar, left hand to the sleeve. I just play it. That's more of the focus of what I was looking at today, and I was going to take you guys through some of this too. Gets the foot back in the lapel, and what you're going to see his outside leg, it's always going to be playing to the lasso, foot to the hip, or foot by the hip, as in his leg is going to go by. With the spider lapel, most of the time, what I found, I'm not able to always knock over guys like that. I actually have to do a full inversion all the way through. So I think some people will call this like a bicycle sweep. So they just kind of like scissor sweep them off to the side. But I generally lean more towards, excuse me if I'm mixing up some of the terminology. Some people got different stuff at different gyms. But I'll do more of like an inversion as I take them all the way through, trying to pin the sleeve to actually get that rotation. But this was actually a really good sweep, really good example of what you guys can do with spider lapel. So this guy ends up, you can say escaping. I think Eric let him out. I don't recall if this match was the beginning of this Brasileiros and he was using it just to kind of warm up. But you would think he was filming an instructional for spider lapel because he abuses that position. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit more. Again, I want to get to the spider lapel. That's a whole lot you can do. Just like Eric did, you can use it to assist when it comes to reaching for that far leg. But as in the hip out like he's doing, frame this far shoulder to really make space and try to win the inside space with the outside knee, which would be Eric's right knee at this point. You're not going to be seeing me do. And then again, I think he gives this guy room to work, lets him out. Not that he's going. And then your outside foot is basically flowing between foot to the hip and looking to like either stomp your foot to the ground to off balance them over to the lapel side, over that shoulder, enter in single X, or go shin to shin to then get the lapel. A little bit of collar sleeve action. And our guy Eli starts pushing the pace. We got close guard. This is when we start getting the lapel, I think at least one more time. Eric using his crazy flexibility. Omoplata. And match is done. But let me pull back this one point right here. So if our partner is like on their feet or on sometimes one knee, shin to shin, single X. Or stomp the foot, off balance over a shoulder, single X. And then we have these beautiful scenarios that we just skipped over to where we can either scissor sweep, learning spider lapel. You guys can obviously check out the links down below. We're actually going to be adding a spider lapel section to my lapel guard instructional. This is a position that I play a lot. I've actually already played it in tournaments. Not the last one, but the one before, Chicago Open. Extremely, extremely dangerous, fun guard. But what you're going to find more often than not is you're going to be either scissor sweeping or setting up into single X, but it's a very, very strong position, especially in the context of guard retention, which is one of the strongest benefits of any lapel guard. So that's what I was wanting to kind of go through with you on that, guys. And let's kind of see what else we can get going here. Give me just a second. All right, guys, and this is a lapel guard syndicate group. This is where everybody's going to be posting their stuff. You'll see that we have based on the community, everybody's matches that we post in there. And then obviously things that go really well, things like our wins, whether it's family stuff or, you know, obviously tournament results is going to be the easiest thing to point out. We've got our live streams that we'll do, reviewing people's sparring rounds like you guys see through here. And then we have my sparring rounds as well. So as an example though, so I can show you guys, the spider lapel, that inversion through that I was mentioning is actually here. It's a 48-second clip, so give it just a second, guys. But you can see I'm getting the spider lapel, get control of the elbow, get the sleeve. And I have the option, after I get the lapel set up, of doing that actual scissor sweep. But if your partner knows what you're going for, as in they anticipate and they off-center their balance super far off to the opposite side you're trying to sweep them to, you then can invert all the way through. And if they stay there and don't get off balanced, you actually have availability of a really neat submission that you guys are gonna see here in just a moment. So if you look, I try to scissor sweep, he counters, rotate up and through, and we end up catching him off guard with the triangle and armbar at the end. So this is a really good example of basically how dangerous spider lapel is. But if you think about it for a second, like spider lapel, like there's not a crazy volume of offense that you can play. But with the handful of sweeps and off balances that you have, when you mix and match them together, you will start to see different patterns. And with those patterns, then you'll be able to set up some of those few sweeps and off balances we have to then sweep your opponent, or like in this scenario, be able to submit them. So that's what I got for you guys today. Make sure you guys check out the links down below. If you guys are interested in learning more about lapel content or supporting the channel, you guys can actually join the channel down below. I plan on adding, for channel members, different shorts and videos in regards to sparring content, some little extra stuff out there to help you guys get better faster. So appreciate you guys being in here, and we'll see you guys hopefully in the next one. So have a good day, guys.